Hi, you guys. Welcome to Macro Live Chat. I'm so happy you're here. I already see Jan A. You're awesome. Thanks for being here. If I just get one person on the Macro Live Chat show in the chat area, I'm all over it. So I'm all over you right now, Jan A. And then you have Jan A. So that's kind of cool too because it's almost Janice. So anyways, but I just want to thank you all for coming and for the replays, because I know there's people that watch the show after it's over. But hopefully you guys can make it now during the actual live show. This is a macro live chat show. And basically what we do is we talk about close-up photography, macro photography, and micro photography. And it's all about really getting into seeing everything in detail with some creativity, fine art, bugs, motion blur, jewelry, whatever it is that you love, we can chat here. I did this show. My name, by the way, is Janice Sullivan. I own Sullivan J Photography with my daughter. And what we do is we help macro and landscape photographers by pushing them out of their comfort zone. So what I like to do is a lot of research on macro and landscape photography because I always feel that knowledge is definitely power, and not power in a negative way, a power in a creative way, and to explore and express your photography. And I'm always thinking about pushing out of the box. And I was looking around for a live show about macro photography. Hey, Catherine! Hello! Oh, Catherine's here. So let me tell you, too, so when I couldn't find the live show out there, just about macro photographers, all I saw was people were talking about, oh yeah, people just like to shoot macro photography just for fun. I'm like, what? Hell no. I am going to make sure that we have a live show just for people that love macro and close-up photography. Even if you're starting off from the very beginning and you're just thinking it's cool, come here. If you are already totally on it and doing 100 stacks and getting into it and all that stuff, come in, because it's all about us really connecting with each other that love close-up work. And one of the things that I realized that is very powerful is that we do have a good connection and a great group of photographers. So Catherine is, oh, so I guess you couldn't find me? I don't know, Catherine. But anyways, Catherine is part of our membership. And she's a perfect example of somebody that wants to keep pushing and creating. And I thought, let's just do this on a live chat show to get other people, not to get onto my membership, even though I do promote it, because yeah, I'm a businesswoman, I will promote. It's not about that. It's about us just talking about what we really love to do. And in 2018, I decided to go ahead and have macro, people that love macro photography, photographers that I admire. And, you know, it's a newbie show. Oh, by the way, it's such a newbie show that if you guys get a chance, please share this with your friends and photographers and anybody that you think that would love macro photography, because it's so new that the chat is kind of, you know, it's oh, hey, Becky's here too. Hi, Becky. Hey, girls, how's it going? Is there any men out there? Come on now. Say hello. Where are you at? So I love to chat. I love to talk live, and I thought, you know, I'm not this huge photographer that has all these millions of people, but what the hell, I'm going to ask these photographers if they'd like to come on the show and talk about their work. And I'm not kidding, every single one has said yes. I'm just scheduling them in, and we'll talk a little bit more about that. So I am so ecstatic that these people would love to come on the show, and they don't care about all these likes that, you know, maybe these other people that have live shows, and they, you know what, they just want to talk to you guys. They know it's focused on macro photography. They're all over it. We are going to have a great 2018, so it's already been fun. But I just have to say, though, when I have the guests over, I don't get to chat as much with you guys. Oh, yeah. So Jan says the show with Dawn was awesome, wasn't it? I mean, seriously, this guy is so cool. He would come back on if I asked him. Like, if there's something else that he's doing that I really like, I'll ask him back on. He's such a nice guy that he would do it. But um, the the thing is that when they're on though, it's hard for me to chat with you guys. But it's about chatting with Dawn and all the other people that I've had AD, Mike Moats, and I've got a couple other lined up. You guys can ask questions, and I'm super excited because I realize that I can't get into. I'm working this back end stuff, so I'm like pushing buttons and doing this, and I really want to connect with you guys, and I really want to connect with my guests, and we just barely got the show notes up for Dawn yesterday. Dawn, I'm so sorry if you're watching this, but we're going to start promoting Dawn, just because it's just been so crazy with time. But now it's going to be so much easier because I'm so excited. AD Wheeler has said yes. I asked him, would you help me produce this show? So he will be on the back end of the show, making all of these changes so I can connect and look at the chat with you guys. I can now talk to the guests and really focus on what they're saying and enjoying the chat. That's why I call it. It's a chat. It's about us chatting. And right now I see basically you YouTubers, woohoo, YouTube rocks. But I have to say that I'm getting Facebook going now. I made a comment and I can see Facebook, and I'm going to go ahead and say hello again. Where are you, Facebook people? Just because it's been so hard for me to connect with Facebook because it's just, the ratio is real low, and I don't know. It's just a mess. But I've got it. I've got Facebook. Twitch, on the other hand, we're on Twitch, but that's still another little echoey in there. There's not very much going on over there. So it's basically YouTube, Facebook, and then Twitch. So Facebook is coming along, and I'm happy that I'm there too. So okay, now let's get, today's an exciting time because we're going to talk about Flash, yes, and I've got questions. That's another thing that I love too, is that I have questions from people that are starting to feel more comfortable about coming on the show, like Catherine and Becky sharing their images, which I totally appreciate. If it wasn't for you guys, I wouldn't have anything to talk about. So anytime that you guys, I would love for you guys to, you can either join the Facebook group if you haven't, and it's facebook.com, obviously, Macro Live Chat, and we'll let you in. This is on my business page, which is Sullivan J Photography. So it's Facebook/Sullivan J Photography. I made a private group just for this show. But if you guys are not interested in Facebook, that's okay. You can go to my, let's see, we'll take that baby off, and we can go, let's see if website comes up. There's the website. So you can go to sullivanjphotography.com/macro live is here. And any of you guys that are brand new want to submit questions or images, that is the place to go to get all the information on how to do it. So definitely check out those two places to share your images. And the ladies that are on today know that I don't sit there and butcher, so please feel comfortable. It's more about critiquing, not really a critique, it's more about just talking about the image and what you could do with the image in even more detail, because there's always something that we can always push ourselves. I got into teaching first just for my own sake, but then I really felt stagnant. Once you become a business and people know what you like and what they like and they want certain things, and then after a while you kind of get stagnant, and I was getting really stagnant with my work, and I needed to push, and that's how I got into the Arcanum. The Arcanum got me into what I'm doing today. So I totally appreciate the Arcanum. I still have some people there, but truthfully what we do here, chatting with you guys and my membership, is one of the most important things that I just truly love. And with that said, let me see if I have let me see. No, I don't have it. I was going to share. Oh, let me share my promo real quick, you guys. Just give me a little, like, 30 seconds. Today's Macro Photography Live Chat Show is brought to you by Adventurers of the F-Stop, a $29 monthly membership to elevate your macro and landscape photography and business skills. Just go to membership.sullivanjphotography.com and check out all the details to push your creations in 2018. Yes, Jan says AD is cool. He is. He's such a nice guy. He's from the East Coast, and my husband's from the East Coast. And you East Coasters have a certain type of humor that I just totally love. Us California people are totally different, but obviously I was attracted to the East Coasters, right? And he reminds me of my husband. It is so funny, and great people. So I'm really excited, and I appreciate AD being part of the show. What's going to happen is, just to let you guys know, what's going to happen is we were going to have Sherry, she was going to be on my show, and unfortunately she's going to come in July, but it kind of works out because she has got a lot going on and teaching over in Chicago and stuff, which is really great. But because we're transitioning over so I can have him produce the show, we got to get things rolling on our own. So it'll be nice to have April with AD and, with him and me and getting the show together. And then guess who we're having? Okay, so May is Alan Shapiro. I'm only going to have one guest a month because I like to chat with you guys. Oh, you're getting snowed in? Jan, so where are you? By the way, if you guys, I made it in the night so I can have wine if I want, some water, beer, enjoy the chat show. That's what this is about. I decided to have in the evening so we can relax and chat about macro photography. I'm about 30 seconds delayed, by the way. So if I don't answer your question right off the bat, then just know that that's why I'm a little delayed. So yeah, I would love to know where you guys are from. So that would be awesome. Throw that in the chat too, because I could see the chats. I could see Facebook. Hey, Facebook, where are you? I don't see anybody. Oh, well, I'm there. But yeah, so I'm super excited about it. Oh, so I was telling you, so Alan Shapiro's coming in May. Woo! So yeah, I was saying that I'm only going to have one guest a month because I want to chat with you guys. So we just had Don Kamarachka. He was just last week. And then guess what I'm having in June? Harold Davis. If you guys don't know Harold Davis, you got to go ahead and check out do a Google. Harold Davis photography. His wife is super cool. We were going back and forth. They were working with me to get him on the show because he is constantly teaching. This man is like so booked with teaching all over the place that it was really hard to get him in, but I'm going to have him June 21st. Woohoo! So I'm excited about that, and then Sherry Miller will be in July. I'm not going to go any farther than that. I have people aligned, but I want to be a teaser, right? So anyways, crazy excited about that, and we will have some fun. So this is really going to be the next couple of, Georgia. Oh no, okay, Georgia's from, yes, Becky's from Georgia. Yes, I remember that. So Georgia, that's south. Do you have alligators down there, Becky? I'm curious because I've been all over really pretty much the United States except for the South. That is my bucket list. I need to go down to South Carolina, Georgia. Yes, Harold is terrific, isn't he? Oh my gosh, his painting with light. I can't wait to pick his brain. I think that's one of the reasons why I love having them here, because they're very cool. And I love to pick their brain on how they do things. So that's going to be super exciting. Sometimes on this show, we always have equipment and we always have the critique. And sometimes I switch them around depending on what we're talking about. Today I'm going to do the equipment first because this way you can kind of see everything, because I've got 2 questions on equipment. And this way when we talk about the equipment, then what we could do is then when you see the images, you'll be able to picture what they use. Oh, Catherine, I live in Atlanta, Georgia area. Oh my gosh. Okay, got it. Oh, Northern New England. Where in Northern New England, Jan? Because I lived in New Hampshire. My husband's from Reading, Mass. He was born in Cambridge. And we lived in New Hampshire. So we lived in Londonderry line. So the Crouchy, well, no, that was Hawaii. Old Man on the Mountain. And then Lucy. Oh, they do. So Becky says, yes, we have them. Not as many as other states, but you still have them. Yes, I used to have an apprentice that was from the South, and we were chatting about her work, just real quick. We're chatting about her work, and you guys know that I like to push everything. And Christine, hi Christine, she gave me a thumbs up. Hey girl, she's my best friend's sister. So anyways, what I was telling her, hey, you know, the way she had positioned her composition, I'm like, hey, you know what would be really cool is if you got down low, it was a beautiful swamp with all this stuff. And she goes, yeah, I would, but there's alligators there. And I was like, holy crap. You know, I was like, no, don't go down there for sure. I had no idea. That's why I want to get down to the South. I got to check it all out. So, oh, and one last thing before we go into equipment. I was super crazy honored. Let me get over to the right screen. I was super crazy honored. Let me see if this works. Yes, it did. To be part of the Women's Month. And these people, AMA Ask Me Anything feed, asked if I would be interested. Let me get my mouse over here. You can't see me, but you could see the site. So they asked if I would do this for a week and people could ask me questions, ask me anything. And I'm crazy excited. There's me, scary. I had to do that real quick. I don't like to be in front of the camera, I like to be behind, but there's me. And I have a conversation, 60 questions going right now. So if you guys want to ask a question, I put the link in. You know what I'll do is I'll put the link right now in Facebook so you guys can ask if you want. It's already in YouTube. I put it there. So if you have questions for me, definitely ask me. It's going to be done tomorrow. So let me get to the front screen again. So it's going to be done tomorrow. Tomorrow's the last day, but I figured I would throw that out to anybody that's watching the show or wants to watch the show later. Oh, you know, it's weird. It gave me a funky face over in Facebook, but there's the link. It looks like it actually works, so that's cool. I just wanted to share that with you guys because I will answer everything. There's a whole bunch of questions. There's business questions that they ask, you know, all kinds of stuff. So you guys, you know, go there if you want to chat with me. And, you know, I wanted to thank them too for asking me. It's a super crazy honor to be part of the Women Month. So thanks very much. That is a lot of fun hanging out there and talking to a bunch of people. All right, so let's go in. I'm going to share a piece of equipment before we get into the lighting because this one person had asked me about a lens. And I'm going to go ahead and get the lens up for you. This is a macro lens. So, and then you guys could chat about it, and then, you know, if I see something, then I will definitely mention it on the show because I don't think the chat, they might show up later, but they get lost. But yeah, I know, Becky, it is cool. It was a lot of fun. Okay, or it is because I'm in the moment right now, right? Let me go ahead and get onto that right screen so you can see my little macro chat live is in the way. It'll pop off in a second. Sorry, guys. Let me see if I could get my side camera on. It's still there. Oh, look at me. I'm like blocked. You can see me in a little bit. Okay, so You'll see it in a second. That bud will leave. I wonder if I'll just get rid of it. There we go. See, I need Auntie right now, right, guys? So right here in front is a 30 millimeter 2.8 macro lens, and it's for his camera. He actually has a lens, so it's an A mount. So if you don't, I'm pretty sure it's M mount. If you don't have, I said the lens, a mirror. He has a mirror in his camera. A lot of Sonys now are mirrorless. I am not a mirrorless. I'm a Canon girl. I do know a lot of photographers that have Sonys and are mirrorless, and those are great. I almost bought that camera, to tell you the truth. I feel it's really, really good for landscape photographers. My macro stuff that I'll be sharing with you, I mean, Canon's just, I don't know, I just love Canon and their macro stuff. So that's why I never left, because I'm really a macro person. My landscape is second. So what this person did is he sent me a message, and he said he'd like to know about this lens. It's a Sony DT 30 millimeter macro lens. And he's wondering if it'll go with his camera. He has an A37 camera. It will go with his camera. So what I wanted to let him know is that, and all of you guys, when it comes to macro lens, I have talked about this on the show before, but there may be some newbies here. A macro lens is cut so you can have 1-to-1 in your camera. And what that means is, if I want to photograph, let's see if you can see this. If I want to photograph my water, and I want to put this in the frame, if you don't have a macro lens, it will not be it won't be the same size in the frame. You'll have to back up, and you'll see it. If you take pictures with your other lenses, you will not be able to get up close with your other lenses unless they're macro lenses. Now, you can get other lenses that attach to, I have shared stuff like extension tubes and stuff like that. You can flip your lenses over and all this kind of stuff. But I'm telling you that the macro lens is cut specifically so you can get up close. And when you really start getting in macro and you don't have a macro lens and you want to get up close, it's annoying as hell not to have a macro lens, because you want to get up there and you can't. Then you get to a point where you want to go 1-to-1, which is the same size of the subject in your frame and inside the sensor. Then you want to even go farther, at least I did, and you start adding extension tubes, bellows, and all that fun stuff. And then Don had showed his lens, which goes 5-to-1, which is really close. And you guys know, if you haven't, I had a micro photography show also, where they actually take microscope lenses and you even go even farther. So I mean, it's pretty amazing. So this lens will go 1-to-1, and yes, it will work. It will definitely work, so no problem. It's just a wider angle, so basically the background here will not be as soft as, say, a 100 mil or a 180 millimeter. So that is, yes, definitely do that. All macro lenses are definitely 1-to-1, so it doesn't matter what lens you have, it's still 1-to-1. You still get to a certain point. It's just really, to tell you the truth, I'm not going to get too technical. It just means that the background is more blurry when you have a longer lens, like the 180s. So that question is answered. We are going to the second question, because I have to make sure that this show is less than an hour. Okay, here's the second question, and I'm just going to read this, and then I'm going to share. Now we're going to get into the flash. It's all about the flash. We're into the flashes. So the second question is, let's get to it. Where is it? Here it is. It's from Jeffrey. And I'm sorry, this question, and I really apologize, I will butcher your name. It's Nyihtay. So thank you for asking that question. I totally appreciate it. And go for it if you want to play 1-to-1. Okay, so now what we're going to do is answer this second question. So the second question is, he goes, I got an easy one, I hope. I'm looking to get a macro ring light with a few adapters so I can use the Canon 180 millimeter macro lens, the Sigma 150 millimeter lens, and the Canon 100 millimeter macro lens, and the Canon 60 millimeter macro lens on his 60D DSLR. So he says, okay, my question is, I'm having troubles deciding on the 2 macro rings. Wait, I butchered it. Okay, I always try to make sure I can say this properly. Sorry, Jeffrey. Okay, he says, my question is, I'm having trouble deciding on the 2 macro rings. First, the Canon MR14X EX2 that I seen you do an unboxing video that I really liked. Thank you. Or the Canon MT26EX RT Twin, which I'm going to share a picture of it, tube flash. What's the difference between the 2? So perfect question, and I know that a lot of people ask these kind of questions. What kind of macro light, if I'm going to do a light, should I buy? Now, again, Mike Motes doesn't use any flash at all, and his work is gorgeous, but other photographers do. And you need to ask yourself, why are you using it? So I wrote a blog post. It's on my website. I talk about the unboxing I have a video about the unboxing. I have a video about this right here. This is the ring light. And I talk about how to use it, or just the back end in here. Catherine knows we had a workshop, so we all played together, so that was fun. And basically the reasons why you would want to use it. So check that out. After the show, I'll put the link down below if you're debating on should I use a macro ring light. It's live, and I don't want to have a coughing attack in front of you guys. I even have a cough drop. It's been fun being sick and everything. So this is a great question, and I have this macro ring light. So it's 2 lights, one here and one here, and they can pop separately. You can change your ratios and do all kinds of stuff with this. You could take it off, see? And then you can move it around and adjust. And it is a beautiful macro light, for sure. But with that said, I want you to know that when I go out in the field and photograph macro, I will use this if I need to. This is like something, and I'm not getting like super, super crazy close out in the field. I'm not going like 5:1 or anything like that. I'm usually doing the 1:1. When I'm out there, I don't do extensions and stuff. I'm a studio photographer, so I do a lot of studio macro. And when I do studio macro, I use studio lights. So with that, I want to share his, and then I'm going to share some other stuff. So this is his. I'm going to go to the right screen. Let's make sure you guys, here we go. So here is his, this is the twin light that he was saying. And the twin light, see how it has 2 lights here? The twin light is about $1,000. So that's, but you can probably find them cheaper. This is just the Canon. The reason why I love Canon is it has, there's a lot inside this pack in here. I mean, I've adjusted my custom functions for it. I have this motto that I don't mind using cheap stuff once in a while, but I have this, I've wasted so much money, to tell you the truth, that when I want something that I truly need, not just because I want, I really need it, I will save my money and buy it. And my husband's always telling me, you get what you pay for. And I do believe in that. So this right here is a beautiful lens. For me, I don't need it. For you, Jeffrey, you might. And the reason why is because it sounds like you really do like to get out and photograph. So let me share with you, here is a bracket that goes with it that you could buy separately. Okay, so these these right here, these two little areas, these two lights come off. And you can get brackets like this. And I think, here you go. Here's an example. So you can take these brackets and take these lights and maneuver them all over the place. So boy, when you talk about flexibility, if you're actually out in the field and using the flash, because if you're getting really up close, you're going to probably need this kind of stuff. So that is great if you're really going to be out there in the field, and every single time you're out there in the field, you're using flashes. So definitely, I would do that if that's what you're going to do. Let me see. Here's the bracket again. You can really just go for it. Let me see what this one is. Oh, the reason why I wanted to bring this to your attention is when I see flashes, well, you know, flash macro, I always see harsh light, because either the ratio is just too hard or there's not enough filter in front of the flash. Because as you can see here, you know, you got the light. Let's see if it comes up big. There it is. So this light right here could be really, really strong. And I suggest that what you would do is get something. You don't have to buy it. I mean, I have stuff that I just put, oh, I don't have it. I'll just put, let's see, let me go to me on my right camera. So sometimes I'll even just put stuff over to filter, or you could tape stuff in here on each side if it's just too much light hitting the subject and you really get those harsh lighting problems, then I would definitely filter that in. But it really depends on, truthfully, what are you using the macro light for? And if you're out there in the field all the time and you really need to maneuver stuff, I would totally go with the twin for sure. I love mine because it suits me perfectly. So with that said, let me see. I'm almost ready to go to critique. Let me make sure. Let's get to the front camera before I do anything. I want to see too if there's any, if you guys have any questions for me. Let's see. So I've talked about that, and yeah. I'm almost ready for critique unless you guys have some questions, which is super exciting because critique is my favorite. Because that's why I wanted to share all of the. Oh, I had one more thing I want to share. So some of you guys might not even want to get a macro light, right? You just like, I can't afford all this stuff. I just want to try it out. Well, that's fine. You could use these. So, you know, you could sync those up and you could put it on that rig that I shared with you. You can use it. You can use that rig for stuff like this. So you can use this kind of stuff, and you can use two here and play with that. So if you have regular just flash strobes, then sync it up and play with these and see what you could do. They even have longer of the brackets made just for this stuff. So if you don't want, you know, say if you already have the flashes, then go for it. Also, when you're getting in really, really close, I shared this with the members in the membership program. I definitely, sometimes this is just not enough. And sometimes you really got to hone in to a specific area. So these snoots are so cheap. I'll put it down in the show notes. I forgot to share with you guys here. But yeah, these things are great. All you have to do is go in and you just attach this, and it really hones into your subject. And if you even need more honing in, because if you're a macro photographer and you need light and you can't get into those nooks and crannies, then you could buy these things. This one came with it. It's a snoot. Look at how cool that is. And these snoots, this is a snoot, this is a grid. And the grids come in degrees. See, this one's a little, let me show you. And so this is what determines how it spreads. Obviously, this really narrows in more. I'm only showing you two. It came with 3. And it attaches to the front. See? And you can really narrow in using your flash. So if you don't want to pay $1,000 or, you know, you say you have a couple flashes, try this. I think it was like 15 bucks. It was really cheap. So definitely want to check that out and play with that if you don't have the cash flow. So I wanted to share that with you guys. Let's put that back. And always remember that, you know, it's just fun and just it is a learning experience, and I get it. So you guys good? Everything's cool? I can go to my critiques? All right, I'll look at the chat though, because I have time to look at the chat, so I'm excited. I could actually chat with you guys. Let me go to Lightroom and pull that baby up so we can get into the first one. Oh, you know what? Oh, yeah. Okay, we're good. We're good. Let's go to, I'm going to go to Lightroom. Let's see if it works good. There it goes. Yeah. I'm hoping you can see everything okay. It looks like it's working properly. I'm just hoping it's not too small, but I'll see. Because I could, like I said, it takes about a 30-second delay. And I'm just looking at the screen. Yeah, it looks good. All right, I can see it. All right. So this is from Becky. Thank you, Becky. I totally appreciate you. She's so funny. She says, Janice, I hate to be like always putting pictures on the show. And I said, why? I am all over that. I'm like, who cares about everyone else? If you guys really, it really does help when you bring these images and you're happy to share this, because it helps other people too. So I can't tell you how much I appreciate you guys when you submit images. So let's talk about this image. So she says, I know this picture has its problems, but I still like it. I am learning to use my flash, and the goal for this photo was to use the flash to make the background go completely dark without blowing out the highlights. She shot it with her Nikon D7100 on a tripod with a Tokina 100mm 2.8 macro lens at f/16 for more depth of field, which means more in focus, as possible. She used a 1/25 of a second. She is using her Nikon SB28 on manual at 1/8 power. So no, that's great. I've totally, let me get this out. Let's look at it. Let's have everyone look at it. Let's push this baby down. There we go. So you can see it better. Yeah, so when I saw this, you know what? It looks good. Let me make sure it's on fill. Let's see. We can see it close. Let's go to 101. She's got it all in focus. Look at that. I love looking at stuff up close because you could really see all the details that we wouldn't see with our eyes. So, great job. I mean, you got everything. There's nothing like totally blown out. There's nothing inky darks. It looks really good. You've got the flash going good. So that's good, especially if you did it on manual, because it's hard. We know that. Now let's talk about the background. Because that's her main goal. This is her main question. And it's a great question because there's a lot of people that it's funny because when she said she wanted the black background, I had someone on the show, in the beginning of the show, that wanted the background not to have the black background. See, we're all different in our own different ways. But what I like about Becky is she's just trying something different. I mean, if you're always doing the same thing all the time, you know, she's trying to learn a skill. And that's the main point of what's going on. And same with the other person. The other person was like, I think it was William. He was saying that because we're going to talk about the inverse square law based, not too much mathematics. I don't do that here. You can go to Don's, what was he? He's on a podcast. Go to his tech thing. Remember, go to my macro live show last 2 weeks ago, because we're on every other week, and he's got a great podcast. So if you want to talk techie, go with him. I'm just going to tell you my way. So, but basically, I do know the techie. I just don't like to explain that to everybody. So it is because of the inverse square law. So, but she says also that she goes, I do not have any diffusers yet, but I put a piece of silk taffeta cloth that was placed over the flash head to diffuse the light. The flash was off camera and held above the flower. Thanks so much. Look forward to the show. Thank you, Becky. So yeah, I think that's one of the reasons why this is successful and you didn't blow anything out, is because you used a diffuser, and that's what I was saying too. You don't have to buy this stuff. A diffuser could be anything. It doesn't matter. You don't have to get top of the line, all crazy, pay for all this stuff. What worked was your silk taffeta cloth. So perfect. That was your diffuser. Glad you used it, and that's why you didn't blow anything out here. The black, now, okay, I don't want to get you really confused, so we're going to talk, and so Becky, you're here, which is good. What happens, let me get up. You can see me in the thing. I'm looking. So what happens is when you take any kind of light, but we're talking about flash now. When you pop the flash, what happens is the flash hits and then it falls really fast. So the closer you get to your subject, the background will become black. So if you're really in close, the light will hit your subject and fall. As you go back, the flash, let me see if you can see. Okay, yeah. So as you go farther away from your subject, what happens is you pop the flash, it drops dramatically as the intensity, but it's still flowing. And it's called the inverse square law because it like doubles. But what happens is if you go farther away, you will actually be able to get, you won't get the black background as much. You will see some of your background depending on where your subject's at. So the closer you get to the subject, the more the black background will be. So basically you get here, the black background is going to be in the background. You get back here, you're going to see the light's going to shine more, just kind of flow through, and you'll be able to see the background. So if you want a black background, there's two ways to do it with your flash. You get up close, or the subject, let me put my camera down so I don't drop it. The subject, say this is the subject, your background needs to be really far away from, you don't want, say your flower's here, then you got a field in the background with nothing out there. Then it will go black. Or like I say, you get up close with that flash, you pop it, and it will drop really quick. So depending, I don't know where you were as you were moving this stuff, but light hits and it just spreads. So that's two ways to be able to be successful in getting a black background. Now, if you cannot get that, the next suggestion that I would give you is to use black velvet. Because the black velvet, what happens is the light hits it and it absorbs it. So it doesn't bounce off. So that black velvet will suck everything in. So behind your subject, put the black velvet here, and put your subject here. And what happens is the light will hit and it will absorb, and it won't bounce and share what's going on behind. So it's not see-through, is basically. So that's another way if you just can't get the black background. What people do too is if they're not indoors, they'll take the black velvet, let me try to say that 3 times, and they'll actually take it with them to wherever, if they're doing flowers and you'll see it draped over, it's because they want that black background. So I hope that has helped you, because that was your question. And yeah, so that's what I wanted to let you know. Because we got to get into Catherine, because it's 4:57. But I'm here if you have questions, okay? So let's go ahead and get into Catherine's. Yay, let's go into Catherine's. A beautiful, beautiful flower. Let's go ahead and read what she says. She says, here is a photo you can use on the live show if you need to. And I do. Thank you, Catherine. Let's see. This was taken a while back using a Sigma ring flash. I used a tripod, and the metadata is as follows. She used a 100 macro lens at ISO 800 f/22 at 1/100th of a second. I have no idea what the flash settings were, and I have not used this flash very much and have trouble understanding how to use it correctly. She said she did watch my video on the strobes, but she will watch it again. So Catherine, if you have questions on that video, please ask for sure. You could ask here on this video too. If you, it's up to you. You could ask in the show, in the membership, or you can ask on the actual live show if you want, below the comments. Let's see. La la la. Oh, and then I said, also, we have a Q&A, so we could talk on the Q&A next week. She said that she was trying to emphasize the petals that were curving, and you definitely was successful. I'm glad that she brought this in, because what happens is, because the petals are curving, you can see them here, they're curving, the shadows hit. And we need, if we can't bounce light into that, then yeah, there's gonna be issues getting into those curves. And so that's when you would want to bring a flash in or bounce light, you know, depending on your circumstances. And that's why I say to use flash, you got to know, why are you using it? What's the reason you're putting this flashlight, you know, or flash into your subject? So I totally get this one, and I'm glad, because it's perfect for the show, because I know that people will have issues right in here. Whoa, let's go to Phil. Right in this area, there's going to be a lot of darks in there. So I know, Catherine, that I'm going to push you to be using manual. I know it's difficult, and you were having problems before with the manual mode. And you know what's interesting to me? I write myself notes, so there's important things that I always want to talk to any of you guys that share images, because I feel it will help many people. And I saw that this over here to the left doesn't have as much shadows, and over to the right has a lot of shadows. And just because, this is what's so cool about, you know, getting to know you guys. Catherine was working on a shell, and the shell to the left was thin, like pretend this is the shell, and to the right had a lot of textures and a lot of shadows. And I thought to myself, I'm like, Catherine, you got something going here, where you like the stuff that's really soft, and then the textures to the right. I'm like, when I start really getting to know you guys, I might like be pressuring you to do more sequences of stuff like that. But of course, as you know, it's really difficult to be able to pop a flash and one side not have as much shadows and the other side have shadows. And that's why it's good to be able to take this light, if you have a ring light or another light, and shut off one side and block it, and then make sure this side pops off, and maneuver your light to get into those curves. But some of this right here, I could tell, I mean, you might even have to like do stuff like this, where you're attaching. You see where I've attached stuff, where I'm really manipulating the light. And this is just a piece of paper. I'm not buying all this crazy stuff. It's just thinking about where the light is hitting. So, hello, gaming.com. Hey, I got a Twitch person. Oh my gosh, Twitch. I just saw hello. Is that you, Andy? I don't know, but I am excited. I just got a Twitch comment. Do you know how happy I am right now? Woo! Because Twitch has been like crickets. I've been debating, but if Twitch is going to come, like, hey, Twitch, how's it going? We're talking about macro photography. But anyways, so Catherine, I wanted to talk to you about the textures, and you say you wanted to emphasize the actual petals. And I think that you're successful on emphasizing your petals. I understand right in here you can see where it's a little dark in here and you might need it to pop more. But it's still a beautiful image. This would have been super crazy dark. If any of you guys have never used flash, that you would know that that is going to be like crazy dark in here. You've got the light in there. It's really cool. What I would do is either take the light off of one side and then, like I said, make the other side pop, or decrease, like say 1/64th on one of the tubes, and then the tube that's closest would be probably B. I'm just imagining in my mind where you were with this, and I would maybe pop it at 1/8. So when you have ratios is what I'm talking about. So ratios, you have 1/8. So 1 to 1 is a whole, and then the ratios, if you go to 1/64th, it's less. So it's a less of a pop. So think of it as that, a little pie, and you're just going to take a little sliver. You're going to pop it off to the side. So I think that if you start playing with that, you'll be able to feel a little bit better about your flash. But it is good. You did get some light in here. I think it needs a little bit more light, just because I can see that it's very dark. It looks like it might even have a little, that you pulled it out. And I know you, so I can push you. And I know that if you were to pop it a little bit more or just maneuver, I think you would be happy. I mean, this is still beautiful, so don't get me wrong. But I just let you know I like to push you. So, but hey, it's AD. You know what, AD? At least you're on Twitch. I'm so happy to see you. At least I got something from Twitch, because I'm like looking, going, hey, I forgot that you're 219gaming.com. Thanks for being here. All right, AD. AD, I told everybody on the show that you're going to be working with me. I'm so excited. But anyways, I was telling everybody about that in the beginning of the show. So, Catherine, do you have any questions? I'm like here to be able to chat with you guys. I'm super excited. Does that make sense, Becky and Kathy, or anybody else that is here to? Yeah, isn't it pretty? Becky says, "I love this image, very lovely." But do you guys have any questions while we're here? I'm giving it like a little bit of a second because I know that it's got 30 seconds here. Let's see what else I got for you guys. Throwing my show notes over here. Should I get in the front? Well, I'll wait a little bit because I might need to go to it. Let's get to me. But I can always go back to it, okay? So let's go to the front screen. Hello. Oh my gosh, thank you so much, you guys. It was fun. I was actually even got the chance to really chat with you. And I think that's what I really enjoy, is being able to connect. And I've got the restream going. So I know now that I see YouTube, I see Twitch, and now I see Facebook. So that's really exciting for me that I can see all of you guys and I can actually chat with you guys easier. But with that said, I'm pretty much, you know what? It looks like the show is almost done, which I hope you got some information on Flash. is something that you can really be creative on, or you could be flustered, but just remember to yourself that you just, with anything, you just got to keep doing it and keep doing it. Come bring the stuff to the show, ask me questions, and I will do my best to help you. That's what we're here for. If you guys are coming in towards the end, this is a macro, close-up, macro, and micro show. And you can enter your pictures here for critique if you want at our Facebook group at Macro Facebook Groups, Macro Live Chat. And you can also go to my website. It's at sullivanjphotography.com. Macro Live is here. And that has all of the previous shows. That actual page has all the shows. It has all of the information on how to submit, how to ask questions. Thanks to guys, we had 2 great questions on a macro lens, and we had a great question on the twin light. And I'm curious, Jeffrey, you tell me what lens you end up getting. I would love to know. And you know what I suggest too is rent. If you have a place that you could rent these lights and flashes and all kinds of stuff, I suggest rent first, because instead of paying all this money and just totally not be happy, I've rented tons of stuff and realized, you know what, this is for me and this is not for me. So yes, let me see. Thank you. Oh, Catherine says thank you. I really do not like the flash. I hear you. But natural light. Hey, you know what, Catherine? That's fine. And you know, if you don't like the flash and you're not digging it, then that's not your gig, and you just keep on with your natural light. You want to be able to enjoy what you do. If it's you don't like it because you don't understand it, that's a different reason. If you don't like it because you really just don't like what it does to images, then don't bother with it. Natural light is all for you, and you'll be able to push your creations that way for sure. Let's see. Becky says, yes, I like that you can chat with us. Yes, I do. I love this. Now, again, we won't have, in April, will be me and Andy and stuff, and then we will have our guest. Woohoo! I'll have, like I was telling you before, we'll have a guest in let's say April, May, and then June, and then in July we'll have a guest, and then in between those guests I will totally deep dive and chat with you guys more, and then when we have our guest, you could chat with our guests. So I hope that you've enjoyed it. I wanted to let you guys know that this show is every other Thursday at 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. I'm keeping it that way. So I will be, let's see, March 29th. March 29th, and I'm hitting, can you guys hear this? That's why I'm hitting my mic. I forget that it's there. Anyways, the next show is Thursday, March 29th. And if you like the show, please give me a thumbs up or share it just to get more chat going, because don't you think it's a blast to be able to talk to everyone? And if you are watching the replay, please ask questions where you're at, and I will get to the questions for sure. So I am Janice Sullivan, and I help you get up close and personal with your camera. So you guys have a great evening, day, morning, wherever you're at. Cheers.